Hello, my name is Moira McPartlin, and today I want to talk to you about my new book, Before Now, Memoirs of a Toerag. And it really is the memoirs of a Toerag, a Toerag called Gavin Smart. So I'll start off by reading just the blurb at the back of the book. Sam and Gavin Smart's world shatter when their maw rips them from the family home on Mother's Day 1990. 6 years later, Gavin is confined to a room in his granny's house after breaking a leg. All he wants is to pass his driving theory test and escape the room. Instead, he writes his memoir of the last 6 turbulent years. As the memoir progresses, more than one person's story emerges, and Gavin realises things have to change. This coming-of-age story, told entirely in the Fife dialect, is filled with comedy, high pranks, and a heavy dose of unintended pathos. It exposes the challenges faced by a single-parent family in a small mining community in the wake of mass pit closures. So it is, as the blurb says, it is written entirely in the Fife dialect, and I was brought up in Fife, and this is the way that I used to speak when I was younger, before I had to tone it down to live and work outside of Fife. So I'm going to read the first section of the book, how it all started. And Fife is a very fast dialect, so I'm going to try and slow down the way that I'm reading it so that it's more understandable. How it all started. I suppose there's loads of stories I could start with. Lucky escapes, I suppose you could cry them. The story of how my ma ruined our lives by dragging us away from my da, and all the calamity that followed. But I can't tell that just yet. So I'm going to start with why I'm writing these stories down in the first place. It was Ma's idea. I'm going to be in here for at least 3 months, they reckon. In this wee room, with a bed and a desk and a window that's painted shut. I've a telly and a radio, and my pals and Sam visit, but they can't come every day. Yesterday, Ma brought me a notebook. You ken I can't read and write good, I says. That's rubbish, Gavin, she says. You just think that because the teachers have been saying it for years. But with practice, you can. And then she told me a story. You see, Ma's really clever. I mean, no just being able to do a crossword clever, but really clever. She kens everything and reads tons of books. Her bedside table is surrounded by a leaning tower of books. But she's also good with numbers and stuff. She told me when she was at the primary school, all the teachers thought she was great because she kent loads of stuff and was a good runner and all, and they liked that. Teachers always preferred folk that could run fast at sports days and were good at sums. I dinna ken why that is, it just is. But every time it came to reading out loud, Ma was rubbish. So the teachers sort of forgave her and didn't ask her to read. When she went to the big school, they didn't do too much reading out loud. She thought she'd go away with it. But every now and again, they had an assembly. She went to the Catholic school and they loved their Bible. And each pupil had to take a turn at reading a passage out the Bible. When she told me this bit, I felt a cold sweat burst out over my forehead. Her brows rippled with memory. I kent what was coming. And I was right. She had to do it one day. She tried to get my Granny Annie to write her a note, but Granny told her to get a grip and just do it. She told me it was awful. She told me she had wanted to run, but she sat back down, her face red, and she swore to herself that she'd never read in public again. She had to, of course, but that was the worst time. Anyway, what has this story got to do with why I'm writing this? I'll tell you. Ma handed me the notebook. You want to pass your driving test when you get out of here, eh? You can drive. Everybody kens you can drive. I've seen you myself. I can turn a van on a penny, but that's another story. Maybe number 10's maybe. But, she continued, what about the theory test? You have to read the questions and pick the right answer. She was right. That puzzle had been eating me for a while. Do you know how I got over my reading problem, Gavin? Know what I did? Nah. I practised. Safely. A safe audience. Not an assembly full of bairns. Nobody to laugh at me. How? Who? She started to laugh. You and Sam. How many books did I read you when you were wee? Hunners. I remember we got read to whether we wanted to or no. Di used to tell her she was wasting her time reading to two rowdy laddies, but she did. Every night. Treasure Island, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Alice in Wonderland, and our favourite, Roald Dahl. I think Ma preferred him and all, because she could do all the sing-songy voices. I didn't realise it at the time. I just wanted to read to get you away for the telly. But then I realised my reading was getting better. She smiled at me. It works, Gavin, honest. All you have to do is practice safely. She tapped the notebook. Write your stories. God knows you've enough funny stories to tell. Nobody needs to see them. It's between you and the page. It doesn't even matter if your spelling's rubbish. It's the writing that's the important bit. Write them and read them out loud. So here goes. Number 1. And that's how it starts. That's how Gavin starts on his storytelling. And the book is filled with little bits of stories about him and Sam, his brother Sam, and their childhood, their teenage childhood, and how it all starts to unravel and gets a wee bit dark at times, but continues to be funny. So it's available on Amazon, or you can message me through my website at www.moiramcpartlin.com. And I hope if you read before now, you enjoy it. And if not, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Bye for now. Thanks.